to this commitment of translating all the sessions, and also welcome to the facilitators today, Sister Anu joining from the west coast of Canada and Sister Priyal from the center of India, Nagpur. So with this, let's move on to the icebreaker video. I think there are sufficient amount of participants now. So as always, I'll be playing the video for you all and see what insights you gain from this video related to the value of dedication. So let's begin.
You think that you'll die without him. You know that's a lie that you tell yourself. You fear that you lay alone forever now. It ain't true, ain't true, ain't true, no. So put your arms around me tonight. Let the music lift you up like you've never been so high. Open up your heart to me. Let the music lift you up like you've never been this free. Till you feel the sunrise. Let the music warm your body like the heat of 1,000 fires. The heat of 1,000 fires. Ain't no crying in the club. Hey, hey, let the beat carry away your tears as they fall, baby. Ain't no crying in the club. Hey, hey, a little faith. Your tears turn to ecstasy. Ain't no crying in the club. Crying in the club. Ain't no crying in the club. You may think that you'll die without her, but you know that's a lie that you told yourself. You fear that you'll never meet another so pure, but it ain't true, ain't true, ain't true. So put your arms around me tonight. Let the music lift you up like you've never been so high. Open up your heart to me. Let the music lift you up like you've never been this free. Till you feel the sunrise. Let the music warm your body like the heat of 1,000 fires. The heat of 1,000 fires. Ain't no crying in the club. Hey, hey, let the beat carry away your tears as they fall, baby. Ain't no crying in the club. Hey, hey, a little faith. Your tears turn to ecstasy. Ain't no crying in the club. Ain't no crying in the club. You know that's a lie that you tell yourself. You fear that you lay alone forever now. It ain't true, ain't true, ain't true, no. I said ain't no crying in the club, no crying. Ain't no crying in the club, ain't no crying in the club. Your tears as they fall, baby. Ain't no crying in the club. Your tears turn to ecstasy. Ain't no crying in the club. Ain't no crying in the club.
Right. I'm sure a very inspiring video. All of you are smiling. That's good. Good start. So if I can ask for your comments, let me just check the chat box. Some quick chat box sharings would be very helpful. There could be a lot of values in this, not only dedication, but many, but we've chosen it for the dedication one. Okay. Yes, Om Shantis to all of you. I can still see Om Shanti. So if you can please type something else as well, will be helpful. Okay. Anyone wants to unmute and speak? You have 3 minutes exact left. I'm having second thoughts whether we should be having icebreaker or no in the future. Okay, right. Anyone of the interpreters, maybe they can give a kickstart. Yes. Okay, so
Beautiful.
Sister is saying, yeah, so Sister Anu is saying something. So trust, so Swati Bain is saying, trust yourself and you will win. Perfect. Inner power made the changes. Mahesh Bhai, Stop not until the goal is reached. Yes, perfect. Kavita Behan, never give up, keep moving forward. Yes, and Lara sister, I'm saying it's inspiring, something about inspiring and courage, right? Yeah, don't be afraid of obstacles. PK Michael is saying, Rehna Behan is saying, when you are dedicated, you leave a legacy. Yeah, very true. And this reminds me of Didi Manmohini, one of the first administrative heads. Maybe this episode should be dedicated to her. We just celebrated her Ascension Day, the 40th Ascension Day of her becoming Avyak. 2 days. Actually, it was yesterday, 28th. And believe in yourself, Vivek. Thank you for that. And confidence in life. Brother Manuel has said that. Yes, so all of you are going there. I can't see any word dedication coming, but yes, all these values which you all have mentioned are very close to dedication. Om is saying, when I change, the world changes, right? Geeta sister is saying, smile first, it will spread miles and miles. Oh, wonderful. Okay. And Brijpal Bhai, finally someone touching on dedication. Oh, it's too fast. Just a minute. Okay, so if you are dedicated, you are committed and connected to the roots, you shall prosper and bloom. Great. Balwinder sister, do not become disheartened if everyone around you is broken and is trying their best to break you as well into pieces. Right. Yeah, it was very true. I mean, beautiful. You continue blooming fully yourself and continue spreading the seed of truth. Then if you die, then it means you have taken a new birth, as you have given truthful birth to million souls. Oh my God, amazing. I mean, the moment I'm reading this, it's like really your churning is fantastic, Sister Balwinder. And you're remembering Brahma Baba, who has been the best example for all of us. Sister Priyal, the last two I'll take quickly. When dedicated to your growth, you can think of doing things you have never done before. Very true. And lastly, Michael is saying, show the way to others. And Jujhar is saying, passion. Wow. Great. Thank you so much. With a lot of namaste to all of you all. And let's move on to the first activity. Over to you, Sister Anu. Sorry, you were saying something. Maybe you could say
right.
now.
So I can mention that now. So yeah, thank you for the wonderful sharings, everyone. It was wonderful, very inspiring video. I loved what was being touched to my intellect was that when you are dedicated to yourself, you leave a legacy behind, that Rena sister said. And it's a dedication to the self that brings new lives. And don't be afraid of obstacles. I also liked, as Priyal said, that you think of doing what you could never think of doing. Dedication brings that out. So let's continue. Let's look into our own life, as we always do, reflection of dedication in our own life. So it's a beautiful photo. As you can see, we dedicate our life every moment to our things in life that we love. So many things we love, and how much from heart we give our time, dedication, commitment to make it happen, to make it beautiful. So let's reflect on those things that you have dedicated your life towards. As you reflect through your life journey at various steps, what is that you will recognize or catch right now that you think you have deep love for and you have dedicated your time, your life, your attention towards? So we'll take a minute for this reflection. So write it down and you can share. So I hope you have recognized that few things that you have absolutely dedicated your life towards. So anybody would like to share? And unmute and speak. So Manoj brother says in the chat, dedication towards my purpose of life, which keeps changing according to the circumstances. Childhood towards studies, profession towards medical profession towards, again, studies and patients. So higher purpose of life that you recognize and you fully give yourself towards it. We would love to hear from you. So would like to unmute and speak. And the simple thing.
Yeah, Om Shanti Devi.
Yes, Mahesh bhai, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm dedicated towards healthy lifestyle and well-being of others. So what I do here is from the past 9 to 10 months, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Before that only I get up 4:30 and we do yoga. Yeah, we do yoga, meditation and mastery to keep ourselves healthy, fit, because in this Kali Yuga, there are a lot of distractions are there. I mean, we are not following the way we should follow the lifestyle. So I am
Right.
dedicated towards waking up early and following healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
That is, and that includes yoga, meditation, mastery, some kind of movement, and eating healthy food, sattvic food.
Mm.
Thank you so much.
Dedication towards yourself, and you recognize that waking up early in the morning, that yoga or silent moments for the self, eating healthy, is the first. That's the foundation for a beautiful life. So yeah, thank you, Mahesh bhai. Yes, Brijpal bhai, you want to share?
See, yes, I have experienced what a dedication or commitment to Baba is. After the loss of my wife due to COVID, in fact, it was due to the medicine which has not worked for her. What I do, as Baba says, I considered myself as a soul, real soul, and in the soul consciousness, in silence, with humility, I really connect to him during Amrita Vela. And when I am able to elevate my consciousness, really I attain powers from him and I live happily. And in kind remembrance of her, I do my work. I attend the Murlis daily. I choose 1 or 2 points and then I follow that for myself and for the service of the humanity. And even my coming for this life of this value of life series regularly and participating in it is my dedication and commitment to one, the Baba. And if the commitment is there, it creates a sense of encouragement for the others to participate. And as our so enthusiastic brother, Dr. Manoj once said, it called for the participation of the new entrants. It is my request to participate more and be committed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's for sure. You said it right. The dedication for the program, and you feel the excitement of, and as we share, we take that energy, new learnings into our lives, and dedication to the self in the morning with meditation. Thank you, Brijpal bhai. I hope I'm audible. If by chance not, then Manoj bhai can take care, because I don't know if my
No, you are audible. Sister Fatima is raising hands. I hope you can see that, no? The screen, no.
yeah,
Sister
it's
Fatima,
okay.
go ahead.
Om Shanti to all souls, divine family. I'm sorry, yes, now. So the commitment for me, as already 12 years that Baba rescued me is, of course, Amrit Velen, Murli, and Aviak food, and do like Baba give us the trima to do the things. And like I was working, so I have less time to do all I love to do. I mean, being in more time with Baba, with family. And now it's coming the time almost for the retreat. So really, I'm very happy because I have more time to be with Baba, with family, with service. But many times I feel that even at work in the call center, that's my work, giving a smile, you know, remember Baba, even at work, giving a smile, lifting someone, sharing divine love, Baba love. I feel that what love needs so much, you know, that the others can really understand that we are one family. We are one family, divine family. But the others too, they are also our family. So that's my point. On Shanti, thank you. Shukran.
Beautiful. So dedication to the spiritual lifestyle growth and a feeling and sharing with others that they feel the special divine love as one family here. Be attracted. Thank you so much. Yes, Brother Mike.
Yeah, Shanti. Okay, my dedication is to reach the most perfect stage of soul consciousness. So I'm quite dedicating to the study and the yoga. And I can see that more I'm soul consciousness and more I see the other one as a soul. And that was I have two nice realization just yesterday and before yesterday. First of all is I can really be proactive in all situations instead of being passive or being influenced by someone, something, or whatever it is, the situation of the people. And also in meditation, I realize that it's the best time to be soul consciousness, to be soul conscious, and to create the sanskars of soul conscious so that I can use those sanskars. So whatever I have practiced, thinking during my day, in my dharna practice, then as I'm thinking about it in meditation, I can make it as a proper sanskars, so I can use it in a much more efficient way in my daily life. And so for me, watching more and more every human being as a point light, a soul, then it changed completely my attitude, my expression, my way of being, and so I'm really more and more dedicating to that attitude and work and practice. But really very much based on the study and the yoga for now. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. That was such a deep reflection, isn't it? On my own lifestyle, what I'm doing. So I think that's what is expected from everyone. So thank you, brother, for sharing that you're driven by that, feeling great with your improved attitude, peace, all these practices. So thank you. I think I'll just read a few from the chat. So Balvinder continues with her great excitement, along with fulfilling my personal, family, social, professional responsibilities. I have dedicated my time, effort, energy, life towards putting my best self in whatever I do at each phase of my life. So being the self fully. So Swati sister says, continue the life with simplicity, dedicating to simplicity. Priyal says, dedication towards growth in every aspect of my life, dedicated towards moving one step ahead at a time. Yeah, not forgetting that one step at a time, but moving ahead. Geeta Gupta says, dedication is to make my soul feel lighter and happy, healthy, cheerful, understanding the best is there for self and others through this service. By being light myself, happy myself, I'm doing service also to others. So Lara says, I think dedication to Murlis and the time. I don't understand fully. Then Dr. Khyati says, I have been dedicated towards growing people through the power of education. Working with universities gives me an opportunity to work with students, which is also my seva or service. That's wonderful. So Subhas says to create good thought, word, and action. So that could be your action planning. And do you create good thoughts, words, and action? Do you dedicate towards it? I'm sure that's what you meant. Yeah. So yeah, there are many. So yeah, Lara says, yeah, in Portuguese, that dedicate to listening to Murli and study every day. Juja Singh says culture and quality in stand. He dedicates. Yes, time's almost running very fast, so we can see whatever we collected. Brother Deepak, you can show the slide. So beautiful. This is all your sharings that how dedication is the basis of life, and mostly we got dedicating towards high purpose of life, towards this early morning meditation, practicing soul consciousness, yoga, being light, being happy to share it with others, simplicity, passion, and bliss, listening to Murli, study every day. So yeah, growing people through education. So that's Dr. Kathy mentioned that towards it. Remembering God and sharing divine love with all. And yeah, state of soul consciousness, create good thoughts and action. Thank you, everyone. So let's move deeper into dedication. So I'll get over to the.
Thank you so much, all of you. And I must say that you all have already touched upon, your responses have shown that you're already into the action planning mode. And all of your sharings, I must say 80% were towards spiritual dedication. So my job becomes quite easy. So let's move on into a little bit of meditative mode to help us inculcate something which we should be doing in our daily life for spiritual dedication. So let's sit back. Look at yourself, the beautiful energy that you are. Asking myself, what is it that I need to achieve more on my journey towards spiritual dedication? Having been into whatever part of spirituality I'm following, I now know the higher purpose of my life. And having known that purpose, which is such an elevated purpose, what can I do in my spiritual effort to achieve the stage of perfection and completeness? Looking at my daily routine from morning onwards, seeing myself in various scenes of life, various circumstances which come and go. What else can I do more? See what answers come into your mind. Working not only on my words and actions, working on a thought level. How can I get rid of the waste, which I'm still not able to get rid of? How to make my thinking more and more summer that is powerful, which we shall come in tomorrow's Murli as well, the Sunday Murli, about how to take care of my thoughts. So can I work on those divine directions? Make my life truly divine, dedicated to their divine purpose. The next half minute, let me spend in silence, thinking about what can I do, achieve that. This is in preparation for the last activity, upcoming one on action planning for spiritual dedication. So let's move on and over to Sister Priyal for the next activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Manoj, for taking us through such deep and insightful meditation experience. And already in this experience, we have already touched a few points, reflected on what we would want to do to improve our spiritual journey. So moving on to the action planning now. As we all know, the action planning is an opportunity to create a working plan for inculcating into our lives the value that we have been discussing. And in this discussion, we are discussing the value of dedication. So I would like you all to just share the screen. Take a few moments to reflect on what changes do I need to inculcate in myself to achieve my spiritual goals. So we have already went into the meditation experience as to what my goals are and how we would want to achieve those things. Take a few moments to share. I'll just share the video. Couple of moments more. Okay, so you can raise your hands if you would want to share, or else you can type your responses in the chat box. but we would really love to hear from you. Please raise your hands if you would want to share. What are you going to inculcate in yourselves to achieve your spiritual goal? Yes, Fatima sister, please unmute yourself.
Om Shanti, sister. I really feel that I need more commitment. I mean, I love Baba, my Baba Dada. I am a surrender soul, but really I need, I don't know, less ego, less something for just do what Baba wants from me. I suppose many times I just still have my own idea, or I want to do that, you know, and I feel I have to stop with that. To achieve my goal, I need to die alive, like Baba said, for become just with Baba.
Yeah, wonderful. Being with Baba and following his Srimad is what everyone says of our goal are to improve our spiritual stage.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful. Anyone else who would want to share, please unmute themselves.
Yeah, can I share?
Yeah, please go ahead, Sister Vidya.
Increase patience and like more listening skills. And accepting each scene in the drama. So more of acceptance and listening skills.
You would want great. You would want to increase and improve your listening skills to improve your spiritual growth. Wonderful. Anybody else who would want to go? Thank you for sharing, Sister Vidya. Is there anybody who would want to speak? Okay, I'll read a few responses in the chat box. Brother Manoj says, practice more time in solitude and introversion, starting by practicing more silence outside first. Yes, once you start practicing silence outside, slowly it moves and grows inside as well. Sister Anu says, dedicating towards putting a full stop in a second to every moment past and no extra thought. Sister Shilpa says, I want to surrender all my ego, fear, and anger so that I can be real and authentic self. B.K. Rehna says, improve my power of equanimity. Wonderful. And Sister Geeta says, committed mission. Sangeeta says, focusing on inculcating more Devi guns, which is divine values, and eradicating my old sanskars. Michael says, giving more time to imbibe the point of dharnas. And Lara says, someone has to translate it. Balvinda sister says, early to bed and rise, traffic control, more self-reflection, self-appreciation, churning more, experimenting more, submitting chart, longer meditation, eating healthy, controlling portion size, be too easy, peasy, loving, not too hard if I fail to follow my daily routine. Wonderful. These are all actionable words, something which one can measure and accurately see whether you're able to achieve them or not. Wonderful, Sister Balvinder. Techno B4 F7 says, silence of mind is more important than silence of speaking. Dr. Khyati says, setting aside us time in your everyday schedule to spend with the divine. So this is the trend of me time these days, where people sit with ourselves to clear our own thoughts. This is a wonderful thing. That is us time. That is not just me, but with me, the divine also. Wonderful. Sister Lara says, practice counseling with the Father every step of the way, being with the One. Wonderful. Brijpal Bhai says, lighten yourself, Don't think of negative. Put a full stop. May I commit to Baba? May I commit to one, that is Baba. Be in soul consciousness and connect to him. Be in solitude and gain powers from him and be in service of humanity always. Subhas Sinha says, to create bridge between science and silence. Wonderful. Sarabjit Basin says, reading Murli and Manan also helps us in growth in spiritual life. Miwa said, practice counseling with the Father every step of the way. So these are some wonderful sharings, all the action planning, how one would like to grow and inculcate more of these divine qualities so as to improve in our spiritual growth. Sister Swati says, believe that you can do as you did earlier. Manoj, I would want to go. Please unmute yourself, sir.
No, I think Dr. Mehta wants to say something. You want to go ahead, Dr. Mehta?
Yeah, please go ahead, Dr. Manoj.
I would say that I would like to be more self-observant and try to focus on areas of my weaknesses and try to practice Baba's Gyan to the maximum through internal inquiry and silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Mehta. There's another sharing, and we'll take this as last sharing. Brother Mahesh says, practicing stillness, solitude, surrendered and following healthy habits of eating sattvic food and getting up early. Wonderful. These are all action words which we will be doing, something which we can measure to put it into our actions. Thank you everybody for sharing such wonderful sharings. Now, can we have the sharing slide, please? To just sum up. So to sum up the action planning, we have all shared certain wonderful action plans that we would want to go ahead and practice so as to increase and achieve our spiritual goals. So do what God wants us to do with full dedication, more practice time in solitude and introversion. So we practicing silence outside so that we can do that more inside as well. Putting a full stop in a second, no extra thoughts. Practicing listening skills, accepting the life drama situations as they are, being committed to the mission, practice counseling with Father at every step, improving the power of equanimity, surrendering all my ego and anger to feel more real and authentic, dedicating towards putting a full stop in a second, as he has said, focusing on inculcating more divine values, early to bed and rise, traffic control, more self-reflection, appreciation, controlling portion size, living a healthy life, being easy with the life, and following the daily routine. So these were some of the wonderful sharings shared today for action planning. Again, for spiritual growth, as Murli and Manan are the major focus areas, so as to grow and deeper into our spiritual study. So thank you so much everyone for sharing. Over to Dr. Manoj for further.
Thank you so much. So honestly, I just love about these exercises in the workshop is, I would just give some from my point of view, but there are so many different perspectives which so many people have. And it's really amazing that all of us think so differently. And all of us have to work on something which we feel, as Dr. Mehta said, to keep observing what am I lacking in and work on that to make it perfect. Right, so I'll just share the screen, and if I can request all of you all, the ones who have joined new and who want to be a part of these workshops and episodes in future. So please, if you could share your email addresses, your WhatsApp phone numbers as well in the chat box, either to everyone if you're comfortable, or to Sister Vidhi and Sister Anu. So that we can send you all the material, because all this material is collated in the end and it comes as a review material in the emails to you with all the upcoming announcements as well. So please share your emails as well. And of course, your, excuse me, your WhatsApp numbers. Yeah, so as all of you know, last time we had Asha Didi with us. So She was amazing as always. And she's a boon for all the translators because she's really so much like, I must not say slow, but she's very stable in her delivery. Like the translators find it very easy. So I'll also try to do that if I can do that. Otherwise, pardon me if I'm a bit fast. Asha Didi had just 45 minutes. She had some other commitments. She was dedicated to something else, but she found out time. We didn't have a question answer session. So we'll be a bit brief in what she said. Yeah. So as you can see, she started with this. It's basically one of the portrait from Mahabharata, the Pandavas, as she mentioned, Arjuna. And she mentioned that how Arjun, who was the master of archery, and he was asked, I mean, all the Pandavas were asked to look at the tree and sort of put the bow and arrow, put the arrow on the bird. So everyone said they could see this, they could see that, the tree, blah, blah, all that. But Arjun said he was so focused. And he said, I can not only see the eye, but I can see the sort of small lens inside the eye, which I have to really target. So this is what is called absolute dedication. So Didi said wholehearted dedication should be there to the purpose of our life. And we have all been discussing that these workshops, why we like them, because it really stirs somewhat inside us the higher purpose of our life. And this helps to achieve our life goals. And that's only nothing but dedication. She also mentions that faith is built through dedication, because sometimes, if I can share an experience coming to BKs, listening to all the new points of knowledge which have never been heard of, we really sometimes try to go in a bit of doubt. But as we, with a lot of dedication, make our own effort, Amrit Vela meditation, being dedicated to the Murlis, listening to them avidly, and sort of absorbing them, inculcating them, faith gradually starts to build upon. Didi mentioned also that when your mansa vacha karmana, which means your thoughts, word, and action are totally involved in a particular task, it is absolute dedication. And from there onwards, then we have a spiritual growth. I think a few people mentioned that in the sharings. And in spite of obstacles, our growth continues. And on the contrary, in our spiritual teachings, we are taught here that obstacles are basically nothing but, Didi mentioned like games on the highway or games on the way. And we say they are stepping stones towards future. So obstacles should come. Otherwise, we won't know, are we really passing in our exam papers? Also, Didi mentioned about full attention and no diversion for dedication. And she mentioned about others as well. As Sister Priyal mentioned, we all say me time, but us time also is there. If we work in unity, in a gathering, when all of us put in that collected effort, that really helps all of us to grow together. I think these workshops are also achieving that purpose. We're all the journey, the same journey, but at different steps and trying to help each other. Let's move further. I like this, what Didi mentioned, because we have covered this quality, and I distinctly remember surrender. It was Mohini Didi from New York. She had spoken about that. Again, though it was a brief session with Brother Eric interviewing her. But these two qualities, surrender and dedication, are very closely linked to each other. So what Didi mentioned for surrender is, it's a total letting go of what you're not thinking, what your words are, what your actions are, letting go of your qualities and virtues. It's like total letting go because you have surrendered it fully. And particularly this word is used in the BK language here, that brothers and sisters who surrender their life wholeheartedly towards a higher purpose. She also added that when you do that surrender, you're totally in the hands of the institution. For example, which sister or which brother would be sort of going to which area for service, that is totally decided by the seniors. So it's a hierarchy which has to be followed. And once I surrender, I can't be interfering with my thoughts in that. Oh, they have asked me to go there. I am not really wanting to go there. I mean, that is not really surrender. That's what Didi said. Whereas what is dedication? It is nothing, another form of surrender where you still can wholeheartedly express your own will, your own ideas, likes, dislikes. So dedication, if I can understand, or if I may say, a step before surrender. So we need dedication also. So whether I am dedicated as a householder or whether I am surrendered as a surrendered brother or sister, it's sort of that way, the corollary between surrender and dedication. She mentioned, I distinctly remember about Brother Jagdish, who was a professor, and he was a person, I mean, what to say, is fantastic. He surrendered his life for this godly service just in 1 second, as all the seniors have done. And he used to work in an organization in a college where they used to ask him to write editorials because he was an author as well. And as all of you know, after coming into Brahma Kumaris, he gave up all that Lokik editorial business in the sense people used to ask him, but he said, no, now this pen is surrendered and dedicated only for a higher purpose. So he never wrote any editorials after that for any organization. It was only for the Brahma Kumaris, and we know that he is called the Sanjay of the organization, which means he's the one who's written so many books. The literature, almost, I must say 85–90% is all Jagdish Bhai's books. And we almost covered that. She also mentioned about how a mother who sustains her child with utmost dedication. The moment the child cries, the mother leaves everything and just comes to the kid. She also went on to mention about doctors, MD doctors. MD stands for Doctor in Medicine. It's a postgraduate degree after MBBS. And she says that how all the doctors also dedicate their life towards a higher purpose. And I think the importance of this was felt more in the years of pandemic. I'm sure all of you went through that how very selflessly they have dedicated their life without even the thought of, or having the fearful thought of themselves getting infected. And then she went on to mention about the dedication of the Brahma Kumaris organization, because she said we have now more than 4,000 centers all over the world. And as all of you know, for people who are new to Brahma Kumaris, that we offer all our services free, because the founder father, Brahma Baba, through Shiv Baba, he felt, and he very categorically said that this is the true knowledge of the self and the supreme soul, knowing who am I. That cannot be charged. It is something very basic, a basic idea, a basic knowledge about who am I, could not be charged. So we should not be charging for that. And also he said that someone may be so poor that he may not be able to offer even 1 rupee. 1 rupee in that day also was a big amount. I don't want to compare it how much it would be now, but someone may be so poor that they may not have, like a beggar on the street, may not have anything, but he also has the right to know at free of cost that who he or she is, the true nature of the soul. Then Didi went on to say, love what you are doing. So when you are dedicated to something, you hold on to it as you have nurtured it. She said that people who are dedicated will be open-minded. They won't just have fixed ideas about anything. And also they are receptive to getting feedback from others. They are not rigid. On the contrary, they are flexible. I think what she meant here in the third line is that you start love. Whatever you start doing is because you're loving it, and keep doing it. Though you may not see something right at that point of time, but keep doing it because you're doing it for a purpose and you're dedicated towards it. Very important, I must be convinced with what I am doing, and it should not be hearsay or someone forcing me to do. It should be my own free will. I am convinced to do, and that will make it happen. And then only can I excel myself towards that purpose, what I have set for. It could be anything. It could be a spiritual purpose where all of us are together. It could be something in the Lokik world, like dance, music, sports, etc., or even the medical profession, as she mentioned before. And this is the last slide. I'll spend a few minutes on this. As I said before, for people who have missed that, we just yesterday celebrated the 40th Avyak Divas, or the Ascension Day of Didi Manmohini, who was one of the first administrative heads, I must say. After Mama. Mama was the first administrative head ideally, and after her it was Didi. Didi is, I mean, in refers to in Hindi, it's basically, it means an elder sister. And actually, ideally, she's the only Didi of the organization. That's what we hear from seniors. And Asha Didi mentioned that she was an epitome of dedication, and how Didi Manmohini was so dedicated towards making Asha Didi a perfect instrument for Baba's service. So Didi Manmohini's few specialties which made her so dedicated, she blindly accepted Baba's Srimat. Srimat means, and mind well, when I'm saying Baba here, it means the supreme divine being. We fondly call the divine being, the supreme being, God, as Baba. So just understand the connotation. So it's about the divine direction she accepted without any questions at all. She dedicated her life for Baba's service, despite she being from a very, very wealthy family. In just 1 second, she left and surrendered. And Asha Didi mentioned that she's developed unique ways of serving the VIP souls. And that's what Asha Didi and Rijman Bhai Sahab had learned a lot from her, because they have been instrumental in doing a lot of administrating wing services, particularly in the capital city where they are serving. Lots of politicians, IAS officers, so on and so forth, they have served. And Didi Manmohini was the one who set the foundation for that. Didi was totally dedicated to the teachings which are mentioned in the Murli class. Murli is the spiritual class which happens at the BKs. She taught one very important thing, that neither be influenced by anyone, nor try to influence anyone. And again, Asha Didi mentioned that Manmohini Didi was the one who's gifted Brahma Kumaris so many things. And let me just spell out a few for you. When we go to any center, there's a Baba's room. Didi asked for that. And because of that, everywhere it's there now. The meditations were made very, very crisp. And they were made as a discipline of the BK spiritual life because of Didi, starting with Amrit Vela, the 4 o'clock meditation in the morning. Even the evening meditation, which we call Nima Sham Yog, 6:30 to 7:30. It's because of Didi. She was very strict about that. The culture of traffic control, it's every 1 minute music goes, and every sort of 4, 6, 7 times in a day, we have 3-minute traffic control, all is because of Didi. Then setting up the Murli question and answer format, the spiritual class, which we listen to daily at all the centers in the form of Q&A, question answer. Then further we have points for essence or dharana, points to inculcate and all that, the blessing, and then the slogan. All that format was because of Didi. And also she made it a point, I remember this Asha Didi saying that Didi Manmohini allowed all the family members, I mean the householders who were the BKs, practicing Brahma Kumari students living in their families, because they weren't able to offer bhog initially. Usually the bhog is offered at the centers where the surrendered sisters do. But she made it a practice to allow the families, the Lokik householders also to do. And she was the one, she was highly disciplined. I remember a couple of years ago, when we had Asha Didi speaking on discipline, Didi Manmohini never missed any Murli. And Asha Didi shared with us a story of how she was so disciplined. I don't have time to cover that story, so we'll do it sometime else. So these are all the contributions of Didi to the Brahma Kumaris. And she also was an expert in letter writing. I mean, if people have some questions, she would really first praise the soul, try to elevate, boost her self-esteem, I mean the soul's self-esteem, and then also give some Murli points, and then in a few words, just sort out what problems they have. She indeed had a clean mind, a clear intellect, and a very honest heart. And finally, if all of you remember, in Hindi, I would like to say, her slogan was, Ab Ghar Jana Hai. So that is in English. Now we must return home. It was, I must not say a sad demise, but she underwent an operation for some brain tumor. And after that, she landed up into coma because of some complication. Though the surgery was perfectly fine, there was some complication post-operative where there was hypoxia. The oxygen went down in her blood, and that was, I think, some problem with the technical oxygen cylinder. And then she never came back. And again, the Avyak Sandeshas which we have, I mean, I don't need to go in the details of that. So it was just like she left the body in a state of coma. But again, she always, a few months before her leaving the body, she didn't know she'll be leaving it post-operative. But it was her slogan that we, all of us, have to return home now. So let's begin our journey towards that as soon as we can. So here we go. So I would like stop sharing the screen now. And I'm sure we have with us Sister Sonja Ohlsson, all the way from Denmark. Yes,
So that's
yeah.
Copenhagen. Yeah.
So before I go on to welcome Sister Sonja, and it's BK Copenhagen, yeah, we can see that. So before I give it to you, I need to introduce you to the audience. And we are so fortunate that we have seniors all the way from Europe, and she's joining us for the first time. A brief introduction about her, that she's the National Coordinator of Brahma Kumaris in Denmark. And she teaches meditation in the prison service in Copenhagen, which is the capital city in Denmark. She also, in 2009, was instrumental in developing the BK Environment Initiative. She has all sorts of stories to tell us. We'll go in that details with her. And you know, the Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative is in order to add the inner dimension at all the discussions which happen in the climate change conferences all over the world. And she's been actively participating in them. They are called the COP conferences. She's been doing that since 2009. And also she conducts a lot of green retreats for the BK community around the world. And as always, before I pass it on to her, a few lines I'll speak in the form of a poem for you, sister. So we have with us Sister Sonja, who's the National Coordinator for Denmark. She creates an impact in climate change dialogues with her charismatic spark. Through her talks, she leaves on the speakers an indelible mark, which takes them into the light from the scary and frightening dark. She says, play with the Supreme in the divine park, and don't worry about the presence of the mighty Maya shark. That's because Maya will scare you constantly like a dog bark. But with the Supreme support, let's continue to sing like a lark. And finally, spirituality teaches us to be soft inside, though having a tough bark, and mold ourselves in any situation like the angles of an arc. Right. So thank you so much once again for joining, and the stage is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the beautiful introduction and the very special poem. And I see my doctor friends are here online, Dr. Ashok Mehta and all the doctors. And actually, I'm a nurse by profession, and I worked in hospitals. And the last 20 years, I worked as a nurse for general practitioners here in Copenhagen. I stopped 10 years ago nursing, but healthcare is very close to my heart. And I know we're speaking about dedication today, but as it is values in healthcare, I thought this is how I see Mother Earth. Actually, I see her as an old lady in the old people's home. And she's not well. She's quite sick, actually. She's terminal ill, you would say, our old lady. And but our duty, we never leave the old ladies just lying there in our beds, do we? We give them something to eat, spoon by spoon. We look after them. We turn them over. We had our spreadsheets and who is doing what at what time. Make sure they're hydrated. And so we have to do the same with Mother Earth. And I'm sorry I couldn't join you for the first hour because actually we had a preparation meeting for the climate change conference. And they are very difficult to get timings. But I could see on the program here that it's such an interesting topics on your first hours. I will make sure I look at it online afterwards. So dedication, and I was a bit surprised they asked me to do dedication talk because I never thought of myself as a person especially dedicated, but you never know what impression you give to others. So I thought it's a nice surprise. And I looked up the word dedication on the internet, and it comes from, it's from Middle English, from Latin, from dedicare, which means devotee. So it's actually the English word for being devoted to something. It's the same word. But then I find something interesting that in the Middle Ages, 1500, they had a special meaning of the word dedication in the area of literature and musical composition. And there they interpret dedication to give oneself to a purpose. And I can see that you also had the word purpose in your previous hour. So things are just so beautifully aligned. So today I would like to share what qualities in my own life has been, what qualities has supported dedication, what values have supported the dedication. But I'd like to start with a story about purpose, which is a story from my own life and the work on purpose. And I started with the Brahma Kumaris now nearly 40 years ago, 37 years ago. And like 10 years into my spiritual journey, I did this course in self-managing leadership. And some of you might have done that course. And there we spent the whole day on purpose. What's the purpose of your life? And I also know that as a spiritual practitioner, some would say that to define your purpose could also be close to ego, because in a sense, we are all souls and we are all God's children. And to put anything extra on top of that would be an expression of ego. But I will not go down that road, but I will take the other road instead, saying that it helped my self-progress immensely to think about purpose. And before that, when I started my spiritual journey, I was an atheist. I worked in the hospital. I was very young at that time. I was only 18. And I was in intensive care unit for children. And I was having duties looking after the respirators for the young kids. And one kid, he was terminal, so we had to close the respirator. So he was leaving the body there and then. And the doctors were there, the priest was there, the parents were there, but it was my shift, so I was also there. And it left such an impact on me because I wonder how come these young, small children, he was only 5, he had kind of curly blonde hair and looked very sweet. And I was thinking, how come these young children have to leave the body? What kind of sin, if you say in Christian background, can they have done? And I think they haven't done anything yet. So I wonder why this is happening. And Christianity couldn't give me an answer. So I left actually the church. Next day I went to the office and signed out, and I said there is no God in this universe. So that was my start of my spiritual journey. But then when I met Brahma Kumaris, I woke up to the notion of there is a God. Wow, how fantastic. And I was kind of in love with having a supreme parent, a supreme friend, the divine in my life. So I used to think wherever God wants to put me, I will be there, and whatever he wants me to do, I will do it. But then I took this course on self-managing leadership. And we were asked, what have life trained you to do? And what's the purpose of your existence? And I started to think, okay, maybe to give my life to God, to be an instrument of God, is only half the story. The other half is that I have in my hands the tools to shape my own destiny. My thinking, my behavior, my decision will anyhow shape my destiny. So it's not only up to God, it's also up to me. And maybe we can share, we take 50-50. So 50 I give myself to the Supreme, and 50 I take myself in my own hands. And I was thinking about my own purpose. And this word hope came up, to bring hope to people. And then, of course, we all know that if you put words to your purpose, you also understand why you end up in hopeless situations. Because that's where I'll be on duty. That's where I can do my job. Now, for example, we have doctors here in the audience. The moment you take a decision to become a doctor, you also take, at the same time, a decision to work with sick people all your life. So if another sick person knocks your door, you don't say, oh no, why do I only meet sick people in my life? You have already said yes to it. And I've seen it with the doctors. The more complicated illness, the more enthusiastic the doctors get. So, and it's the same if I, for example, define my life purpose to be spread love and spread loving vibrations, then of course I would often come in situations without love, because that's where I can add my speciality. I can add my vibrations. So if I define myself working with hope, I would often end up in hopeless situations. And yes, I have often done so. You mentioned working in prison, which is a very hopeless situation for many. And I also worked in the psychiatric department of the hospital, in the prison hospital psychiatric ward. And that's really a kind of hopeless place. But then when we started on this environment journey, I realized that is the biggest hopeless is to try to work with climate change, because all statistics and all trends are just going the wrong way, you can say. Overall, we are moving towards a new world, a new spring of humanity, but in the immediate view, it's kind of pretty hopeless. So that's where I have to add my hope. And that's, of course, to have the purpose in the back of your head as I move around through life has answered many questions and has increased my dedication to whatever I do. And talking about dedication, I thought, what values support my dedication? And they will not be the same as yours. You have to define the values, the decisions that support your dedication. They will be very different to mine. But I can only share mine with you. And the first one that came to mind was actually something I called a fun factor. And maybe the more spiritual word would be to have joy in whatever you do. It has to be some kind of lightness, some kind of humor, some kind of ability to to enjoy the process, to enjoy whatever I do. And we all know that when you enter a family situation or a new workplace or a new project, whatever it might be, there are elements in it that you don't enjoy. There will always be that. But overall, it has to be with joy, with happiness. I embrace a task or I dedicate myself to something. And for myself, if it's not there, I wouldn't do it. That's and if there is something I have to do and I can't find the joy, I would just have to stop doing it until I find the fun or the joy again. And there is a way to finding joy in everything I do. You can find it inside, but sometimes you have to find it on the outside. So, so that's a very important value for me personally. And the other value I found was, yeah, you can call it balance, or you can call it the balance between male and female, or the process and the goal, or yin and yang. But for sure, for myself, it has to be a balance between being process-oriented, which is the female quality, and being goal-focused, which would be the male quality. And if I get too focused on the goal, which can happen to me, I want to get ready. I want to see the end of the project. I want to have a complete result. I want to finish this so I can move on to next step. If that's happening too much, I will not enjoy the process. And then it becomes stressful and become too hard to do the job. And sometimes it's the opposite way, the other way, that I lose the goal focus, or I become too lost in the process. So everything, we work as a team, but actually the team building and the team relationship maybe take overhand. So we lose the view of the task we have to do. We are so focused on the team and team building that we never get to do anything. And that can happen or if I'm starting a project, you can be lost in trying to understand what it is all about and read article and analysis that you actually never get going. And so it has to be a balance between being process-oriented, and to be goal-focused. And when I strike that balance, things work quite easily. To dedicate yourself to a task and get this nice flow of things. And you have maybe process, goal, work, and step by step, or you have them merged at the same time. That can also happen. But the both elements has to be there in order to enjoy the journey and in order to get there. And I thought maybe we could stop now a little bit and do a meditation exercise on these two qualities. And I'd like to do another exercise a bit later, and then hopefully we'll have time for a final meditation also. So let's take some reflection time on these two elements of joy and balance in order to dedicate to whatever we need to dedicate to. And I saw in your program that you had actually done some work on finding something you want, an action planning to dedicate yourself to something, and you maybe talked about dedicating yourself to your stage, which we will also I will share to you about, but let's think of something you want to dedicate to like a more practical thing. When I say the word dedication, what comes to your mind first? Is it to God's task? Is it to a project you're working on? Is it to your family? Is it to whatever? Is it to hospital care? Is it to your job? When this word dedication, when you hear it, what pops up in your mind first? Or maybe you have something you need to dedicate to, but you have problems with it. Could be anything. But pick one thing. So we start the reflection by relaxing. Always relaxing first. So take a deep breath. Now take another deep breath. Now relax in my body. And relax my legs, my stomach. And relax my shoulders. My face. I turn my attention within. And I relax. And I relax a bit more. And I settle into this very moment. Reflecting on dedication. Bring one thing to your mind that you are dedicated to. And having this situation or project or person in your mind, ask your heart how your heart relates to this. How is your heart relating, feeling?
Já tinha estamos montados. Para, filhas? Vocês também de fazer. Ainda bem que.
Ask your heart how it feels and thinks about dedication and what you have chosen. Whatever feelings comes up, you accept whatever comes, and I don't judge it. And now find the element of joy in this situation you're thinking of? What is it that brings joy? What makes me happy when I think of it? And when you get this, find this element of joy, you will have an inner smile when you remember it. And see yourself moving towards completion with a smile, with joy, with happiness. And moving towards completion, we can see that it's both the journey and the result I have to take care of. So bring the end product, the result, very clearly in your mind. And fill it with colors. Fill the final result with fragrance. Give it a form. And enjoy. But also see the journey towards this result. See yourself walking, traveling, moving. See the process. And make sure you travel lightly. With happiness, with balance, with care. For you, what's the most important qualities for the process? And slowly we return back. Take a deep breath. And come back from the reflection. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that reflection. And we will do another exercise very soon. But so the first two, let's go back to the 4 qualities that support my personal dedication. So the first one was joy, and the second was the balance. So the third one, it's maybe it's because I'm a nurse, I don't know, but this deep value of care, being caring, compassion, love. And I wouldn't be able to dedicate myself to anything if I didn't come from a position of care. And working with the environment, that really has brought new perspective on caring for me. because as we are from healthcare, many of us, I suppose we are all caring people. Everyone is a caring person, basically, because love is the basic quality of all of us in the whole world. But some to more extent than others, maybe. But working with the environment, I realized I have to expand my caring, because to feel care for other people or to feel care for relationship or for a task is not enough, or even to feel care for yourself or for your relationship to God is not enough. So I have to extend my care to include matter and the elements, which in the final product means actually the whole planet. Because caring is coming really from within, and if care only reach people or living beings, then it is too much connected to the object. It's not coming really deep within. So if I really live deeply from care, I care about everything, even if it's living or non-living. And caring about the body, wow, what the body is a fantastic instrument we've been given to look after very well. You know, for me, the body is like maybe a piano would be for a musician. That's the way you express yourself. And if you only have one piano and you are a musician, you would for sure look after it very well. So it's the same for the body. We have to look after it. And, you know, we also have to look after the earth. We breathe from the earth, we eat the food, we walk on it, we drink the water. And I will only look after it if I have this come from a position of care. But sometimes this issue of separation can come in our consciousness. So we have to practice non-separation. We are connected. In the environment field, they talk a lot about interconnection. Everything is interconnected. And we know that. So in the world of social media, we know it even more. One little comment from one little person in a little country can go worldwide in no time. So we are so connected, actually, and we affect each other all the time. So we are connected, we matter. And we have to make sure we look after that connection with a lot of care. Because only if I care will I take responsibility. And responsibility is the main one and the main qualities for a successful life, and also to look after the planet. And the last quality, the last value I put for myself was actually humility. And I can't say I'm a humble person. I can't say that, because you can't say that about yourself. But I value it very much. And close to humility is also being gratitude for whatever you have. And as I used to do this course in business before, self-managing leadership course for people in business background, I found out very quickly that some of the most successful people in big companies, they are not known to the world. Actually, the more being humble is critical to grow a successful business. And when you think of international big business, yes, you know the CEO and you know the person, and they are world famous probably, but most companies is not like that. And and I also know from personal experience, when being involved in surveys or big projects, that it's very windy there in the forefront where you are very visible. It's a kind of stormy position to be in the front. And I find being a bit in the background gives me much more opportunities to do things. You have more free hands, you're not watched all the time, and you can sort of make connections, innovation, you can, so many opportunities if I just stick a little bit in the background. And I enjoy that a lot. I enjoy sort of take opportunities as they come and grow them. And that is easier in the background, but that it has to be natural to stay there. So I don't feel I'm being compromised or overlooked or not respected or anything, but it's a big joy. And I realized taking responsibility for a project or for a situation can also mean insecurity, right? Will I be able to do it? Will people like it or not? Will they like me or not? Or is my contribution accurate? Is it relevant? Is it intelligent? And they say that the fear of being ignored and the fear of not being accepted is the biggest fear, equal to the fear of death. And that, of course, those insecurity comes up when one takes responsibility. But I realized one day on the bicycle, this is how I remember my insights. I remember where I had them. It's my own memories. I remember this one was on the bicycle going through a park in Copenhagen. Is that I realized, wow, that people can reject my ego and my attachment and my anger, but they can't actually reject the soul or the real me. So a lot of insecurities is attached to this not being accepted or rejected or ignored. And wow, I thought my vices, my enemies, my weaknesses can be rejected, but not actually me as a person, me, the being. And that was such a liberation, to free the spirit of more humility and more joy and care. So I thought, yeah, maybe we stop here and have another reflection on these two qualities. So I'll ask you to go back to your relaxed position and get it straight back so your circulation can reach your head. And take a deep breath. Maybe close your eyes if you want even. And make sure the body hasn't become tense in the meantime. That the shoulders are relaxed and not stick to your ears. And we take a few deep breaths. I breathe in deeply. And I breathe out very slowly. And again, a deep breath. And slowly out. Breathing deeply makes me humble. Breathing deeply makes me remember I'm breathing the same air as everybody else on this planet. Breathing deeply makes me feel connected to all living beings and to the planet breathing deeply helps me to settle in to the very moment I'm in. Just stay here in this very moment where I can relax and breathe. And I go back to this object on my dedication, that which I'm dedicated to. And I bring it up in the screen of my mind. And I ask myself if I have resistance anywhere. Is there an element of resistance to my dedication? And if I find a resistance, ask yourself, what is that all about? What does the resistance want to tell me? And whatever I find, let's embrace it with a lot of love, with care, with compassion. I awaken the feeling of care and compassion for myself, for all living beings, for everything that doesn't work, for all complications, for all negativity. I embrace it. I love, care, and compassion. I embrace the whole world in my unlimited heart. And then we take a deep breath and we come back from the reflection. Okay, so I would like to give some time at the end to questions and dialogues. I hope maybe you all are thinking of what 4 values are supporting your dedication. And for me, to dedicate half time doesn't work. I tried once, there was something happening in a center in the UK, and I was asked to help, and I was a bit flattered being asked, and I really wanted to help also because I wanted to work with the people in the group. And I said, but I didn't have time. And so I said, okay, I really want to help. I'm happy you asked me, but I'm so many things going on now, but I can help half time. You know, I will be on the sideline supporting a little bit as much as I can. So I will be kind of half time in the group, half helper. And everyone agreed to that. But it was a disaster from my side. It just didn't work. And because somehow I never joined the group fully. I never joined the relationship fully. I never joined the task fully. So it ended up from disaster from my side. So I was withdraw from it, and I was never asked to do this again with these people in this setting. And maybe it was my ego who said yes, who knows. But I just realized from that time on that if that happens again, I will have to say no. Either I do it 100% or I don't. That's basically it for my side, which is a very good experience to have. And but then coming towards the end, I would say that the final dedication of all dedication, I think you have talked about in the morning, and that would be to dedicate yourself to spiritual progress, right? And the world is going through a very difficult time. And the world is calling more and more for yogis, for people who are detached and loving, for people who don't get drowned in all the bad news from everywhere, but who have focus on cleaning themselves and healing themselves and get ready for being able to help not only other people, but the whole world. And Daddy, you know that we all call it being an angel. So that would be the ultimate dedication, I assume, to your final stage where everything is clean in your heart, to spiritual progress. To be an angel, to be an instrument for creating a new world where there is no suffering left. I often ask myself, it's possible to be 100% happy if there is suffering in the world. If someone is suffering, is it possible to be 100% happy if we're all interconnected? And somehow I don't think so, but it's a question of discussion. But how far do I, so dedication to my spiritual progress would also mean to make sure that my timetable, my meditation, I don't compromise on these things. That my meditation and my spiritual study actually is higher than completion of a project. And how far have we come in our spiritual progress? How dedicated are we? And how do I know how to measure things on the soft side of life? I remember our late author and became Brahmakumari's Anthony Strano, you would all know him. He used to say that the only source of happiness for an angel is to be used by God. And I thought that sums up very nicely what we talked about today, about joy, about being an instrument. But how far do I know and how dedicated I am to my spiritual progress? How do I know how far I've come? And I suppose we can measure it on our relationships. So that's what I'm doing personally at the moment. I'm checking all my relationships and see if there is any negativity anywhere, or apprehension, or slight dislike, or little irritation on other people. because my ability to work with others, to work with different kind of people, to work with difficult people, so to say. All these things is an indication how far I've come in my spiritual progress and my ultimate dedication. Manoj, you unmute yourself.
Yeah, I know. No, I thought you had stopped. Sorry. You can,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Actually, thank you so much for this. I didn't know you were a nurse. It's your fault. You should have told me in your CV. But I must say that you nurses are all dedicated, and I need to acknowledge today one more soul. She's there in front of us. She's Deborah from Florida. I would like to read. She's mentioned something which is very shocking in one way. She's also a retired nurse, probably. She's written RN. I'll come to you, Sister Deborah, in a while. And she's retired due to disability.
Yeah.
And TBI means, I think, total body irradiation. She's been stabbed 10 times in Alaska. So, yeah. Okay, so I think we can just hear from, if you can just unmute Sister Anu and Sister Deborah, we only have a few minutes. So if you can just be very brief, if you want to share something. I'm just asking you to unmute. So you can just unmute yourself now. Yeah.
Oh, good morning. Well, morning over here anyway. So happiness with suffering, it can be very hard. But boy, this has been just what I needed. So, okay, I lived in Alaska and I was stabbed 10 times getting into the car to go to work as an RN one morning. And I did everything I could do to stay alive. And Dadi Gulsar afterwards, when I finally got to go back to India, I spoke with all the Dadis individually, and she said, these bodies are, sorry, the TBI is a brain injury, so excuse me. These bodies are, what's the word, you guys? Come on. Invaluable, invaluable. These bodies are invaluable, especially at this time. So I did, and I had been shown a vision 8 years before I was a BK, that I had a role to play at the end. And so I'm like, I can't leave yet. It's not time. And I fought to live. So the saddest thing just to say was that I couldn't, because the body was just 100% pain everywhere and there was no position of comfort. So people were coming and praying over me and reading poetry and beautiful, beautiful things. And normally I can feel that subtle spirit, but there wasn't. And so all the time I'm talking to Baba in my head and I go, Baba, this was the saddest. Baba, I can't find you. I can't feel you. Where are you? And after about 3 days, I finally could feel that he was right over standing over me. And he was with me. And also in my eyes, because I'd been on many times, in my eyes, it was Pandav Bhawan, that big Baba's light. I didn't have any BK, anybody with me in Alaska. So that's what I used. And so in front of me was Baba's light. And then later, when I did counseling, because phobia was over my head, anybody at all that I don't know, they're going to kill me. And I had no reins of my life. It was just over my head. So I went to, a friend of mine was my counselor, which was so beneficial. And she did EMDR, eye movement desensitizing reprocessing. I'm sorry, I haven't talked about it in a long time. She did EMDR with me, not with eye movement, because my eyes were damaged. I had double vision and the pupil didn't work and all these things. So she used my hearing. You use 2 senses, and I held these vibrating things in my head, and that's how we did it. But she knew she needed me to have somebody with me on the street when we revisited the scene, like the guy jumping out from behind the car, and I'm laying on the ground, yelling, "Help! Call 911 immediately! I'm badly hurt." And so I said, "Baba's eyes." No, I didn't. Yes, I did use the word Baba because she didn't know what I was talking about. And I explained, I said, "Baba's eyes." So Dadi Gulsar stood on the sidewalk. Every time I revisited the scene, Dadi Gulsar was with me. Baba's eyes were with me. Our knowledge that we have this venue that you did today, I'm so thankful. A friend in Southwest Florida invited me all of a sudden, and I chimed in. Thank you. It's exactly what I needed today. And the distraction I have is that I cower. I'm scared to be what I want to be, but I'm starting to become it more and more. And Sister Sonja, if that's how you say it, what a beautiful smile. Thank you for sharing. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much. So all was in the divine drama plan. You were supposed to join and therefore you got the invitation. So I think our time is just running very fast ahead. And I would now request first Sister Claudia, who's supposed to go soon because she's got an appointment. So I would request Sister Claudia first to propose the vote of thanks, followed by Dr. Ashok Mehta. So over to you, Sister Claudia.
Actually, before Claudia comes on and we finish, I have one more thing I wanted to say.
Sorry, yeah.
And that was because it was the environment, I think my work with the environment that made you ask Manoj Pai or the team. So I thought you should, if you have time, go to our website. It's echo.brahmakumaris.org. I put it in the chat. And just have a look at all the fantastic work that's happening with the big team. And the next climate change conference is coming up in Dubai, in COP in November. And Brahma Kumari's overall theme is on consciousness and climate change. And we work on lifestyle change, on awareness change, and we share our investment in solar energy and so on. And we have many articles on care and compassion for all living beings. And thank you, Deborah, for sharing. So I say thank you very much, and it was a joy meeting you all. Thank you.
Yeah, and before I give it to Sister Claudia, just 1 second quickly. Yeah, so Brother Golo, and you have done extensive work on this echo.brahmakumaris.org, and I have listened to a lot of your interactions at Gyan Sarovar sessions online, obviously, during the double foreigner session. So I think all of you would please visit that website. It's echo.brahmakumaris.org. So thank you so much for sharing that. And over to you, Sister Claudia. Thank you.
Oh, Shanti, good morning from our side. So it's nice to hear you, and special have you for the first time with us. It is a pleasure. And I just like to say, yes, many times we care about patients and we forget to care about ourselves, because we kind of feel mercy for them and we have hope that they are going to get better. And we get happy when they get better, and then we forget ourselves. That is usually. And I try to all the time to remind myself, I need to take care of myself first, and then I can share with the other ones. So, well, thank you for reminding that to us. And then it was very nice to see how you put the dedication in the 4 qualities. Actually, I'm going to check on that one and then see what is the qualities that makes me to dedicate my life to all those years. And of course, we become double doctors because we also look after the spiritual side. So anyhow, so we have to be double careful too. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure to hear from you. Thank you.
And over to you, Dr. Mehta. Thank you, Sister Claudia.
Thank you.
I remember Baba's words, Kushi on Chehra, your happiness is expressed on your face all along. Your smile, as I think Sister Deborah said the same thing, watching for all the time, your smile is just captivating, outstanding. As a matter of fact, I think such a lovely face is representative of Baba's deep knowledge expressed through your face. The energy that you exude is amazing. What you said was, everything was so beautiful. I think, and finally, you have, apart from being a nurse who has looked after through a complete dedication, the proof of the pudding is that you have finally gone to look after the earth, Mother Earth. I think that's another expression of great love for the environment. And I've seen Golubhai and work right from day one on the environment. And I think the dedication both to the patient care and to the environment is the ultimate that one can think of in terms of dedication. Congratulations. Thank you very much for sharing your beautiful smile and beautiful views with all of us. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Dr. Mehta. And you are also a very dedicated person. So you are the right one to speak in this session because your dedication is also famous. I don't know all the others so well. So thank you for Manoj and Claudia and the whole team.
So we won't let you go so soon. We have a couple of more minutes. And if I can request all the people to on their cameras so that we can click a memorable photograph with Sister Sonia. So over to Sister Anu for that. And then I'll do the announcements shortly. And then we'll have a closing meditation as always.
Okay. So everyone, please, you can switch on your videos for the memorable photo. This is Sonia. Yeah.
It's done. Yeah, thank you. So we'll just quickly move into this announcements. And if you all want to deepen the experience of dedication, so I would really invite you to join the silence retreat, which is happening in 11 hours, exact 11 hours from now. So 8:30 morning India time. And for the West Coast, US and Canada, it's 8 p.m. this very day. And we have once a month silence retreat, usually on the last Sunday of the month. So that's tomorrow for us in India and for the West Coast later in the evening. And this will be on dedication. It's a way to go into silence and we listen to a few meditation commentaries as well, and also a few divine versions from the Supreme Almighty Authority through Dadi Gulzar, as you all heard from Sister Deborah as well. And moving forward to the series, we are 71 episode number. It's Guidance by Brother Mike George. We have really been missing him since many times due to some other commitments. And he will be giving Margdarshan or Salah on the same. That's the Urdu and the Hindi word. It's on the 5th August, the same time, and it's next Saturday. And again, we have missed another speaker, Sister Valerian from Switzerland. She'll be, again, as we are doing today, the workshop, 2 weeks from now, again on 12th August, she'll be guiding us on guidance. There you are. And this is our elegant calendar for August. So we'll be sending you all the review material with all these announcements as well in the emails. And I think quite a few people have shared their WhatsApp numbers as well. So these are our websites, and please feel free to email us on our emails as well. They're in front of you. And all these workshops and the episodes are all available on these links, which you can look down. It's omshanti.tk/workshops. And for the episodes, it's /playlist/English, Spanish, French, whatever you want to hear in. So thank you so much for all of you. And we will now go into the meditation or drishti, whatever suits you, Sister Sonia. Thanks.
Okay. So let's take a short meditation. And you all take a deep breath again. and relax. And when I breathe deeply, I remember who I am. I remember the beauty of the light inside. So take a deep breath. I remember the divine who will always care for me forever. And as I take a deep breath, we send love and light to the whole earth. You can put the earth in your hands. Place the planet in your hands. Let God's energy work through you, flow through you. And you embrace the planet with care and compassion. And all living beings. And you heal the pain and the suffering. As an angel of light. I'm dedicated to this task alone. And we take a deep breath, come back to this moment with gratitude. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much for your presence and for your wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be with you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.